Hello, hello, my crafty friends. This is Anne-Marie Julian Wetzel. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am excited to share with you a technique called smooshing. So you may have seen it before, but I have incorporated it in a process video for a scrapbook layout that I'm going to share with you today. In this video, I'm going to smoosh, and then we're going to use that to create a title. And I love the big alphabet dies, the party alphabet dies, to create it. And this scrapbook layout is going to be a memory from my Africa trip. So I'm excited to share all of those photos and tell you that story. In addition to showing you this technique and doing the process video, I'll also be using the autumn trees dies. And this die is perfect for nature, for scrapbooking, and making some beautiful cards. But this is a layered die. It has the big tree here. It has the beautiful deer. Obviously, we're not going to be using the deer since my layout is going to be with lions. But I do love the layered dies. And it does have a coordinating stamp set, but we will not be using the stamp in this video. So, with that, let's get started with the smooshing technique. Okay, so the two colors that I'm using are Darling Duckling, which is one of our new in colors. And I'm going to use Crumb Cake, which I just love this color. It's a nice neutral color. Taking a piece of cardstock. And I'm not even worried about that little smush. If you can, I don't even know if you can see it, but it's there. Probably from my fingers from practicing. But this is also the Stampin' Spritzer that we're going to use. So I'm taking a sleeve that I use to put my cards in for my card kits, but there's also the packaging that comes with the Stampin' Up! Packaging that you can use this for. I'm putting my hand in here so that I avoid getting really dirty, right? So let's start with the Darling Duckling. I am going to pat that stamp pad. Our stamp pads are so juicy, and this is perfect for it. And then I'm going to take that spritzer, and I am wetting it and spritzing it, and then I'm just going to lay it down there. And that's okay to have that drop there. It will dry. I do have some more ink here, so let's just spritz it a little bit more. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I'm going to just do one little bit more. And I want to wet this again because without wetting it, it's a little bit darker. Okay, now I'm just turning my hand over in this bag. And I am going to do the crumb cake now. So you could use up to 3 colors with this technique. I wouldn't go any more because the colors would get muddled. But again, I'm spritzing that. And just placing it down here. I can take some of this. Let's add a little bit more. Again, spritz it. Love it. All right, I think that's enough. I do want to keep some of the white in there, but let me get rid of this and clean up our workspace, and we will get ready for the process video on the scrapbook layout. Let me clean up here. Now, I pre-cut this already. As I said, I was playing a little bit, so I didn't want to have you watch. But I created the title, and if you guessed, it is lions. So here is, again, it's dried. It doesn't take long to dry, but this is going to be the title. So the photos that I'm using are all of the lions. Now, these are all of the female lions. We saw a lot of male lions, but there was a story behind this. When we went and saw this tribe or group of lions, they were waiting for one of the sisters to come back. So it was interesting to see that. Again, on the safari, we got to see all of the sunrises and sunsets. And here they're just laying around waiting, and then you could see all of the Jeeps here. and the lions were right there next to us. He was really yawning, or she was really yawning. And then here is the one that was coming back that they were waiting for. Again, this is just showing some of the area of the land and how dry the safari was. And look at how beautiful she is. Okay, so with that, now that I shared you that story, let's get putting this together. So as you can see, my pictures were cut out. So I used all portrait sized pictures. And with that, what I did was, so again, this is 6 inches. So what I did was take the back of my photo and I marked it at the 1 inch. And I did that on both sides. And then I did for the 4 and the 2, and then I just trimmed here to here. I actually created a template to do this initially, but it's not necessary, but it did make it go by quicker with measuring. So I just had this arrow type of template and then trace the lines. And I have several that are going in this direction and several that are going in this direction. About 8 photos, I believe I have. All right, so here is my layout. You know what? I actually just had this brainstorm of an idea, and we're going to do it again. We're going to do some smushing. I'm going to lay this out first and show you kind of where I want, and then I'm going to take a pencil and kind of mark where I want to do the smushing. I just want to add a little bit more. So here are all my photos that are pointing up. And look how beautiful. I just love. All right. So you can see I'm going to have to cut that photo in half, or not in half, but cut that. And let me see here. How far over do I want to go? This is the one that I believe I want to have that fit right in there. Right? All right, and then I have this other piece that I angled, and I will put that, and that will be for journaling. But, so I want to do some, I think, some smushing over in here, and I think I'll do some smushing over in the center here. And maybe I'll do some in the background towards the middle here, so you'll see it come through. All right, so I'm just going to set these and put these in order. And let's get smushing again. I am actually taking the same and what should I do? Because I've already started, I already adhered this down, so I'm just taking some scrap paper here, putting that down, and all right. Taking my spritzer again. All right, let's turn this over. I should have kept these open. Yep. Just want to make sure that I have that right. I don't want to contaminate my ink, right? So again, let's spritz. I'm just spritzing it off because I don't want any more drips. Although this will probably get covered with a photo, right? And there we go. Okay, I promise I'm done smushing. Let's just clean up some of this that got off. I'm not really worried about that. I know I didn't end up covering that up, but those things don't really bother me. All right, so as we had our pictures, so I'm going to do these here, and we're going to adhere those on. I'm just going to set these again in place. And that's going to go there. Double matted that. All right. And hopefully, yep, you can see this all in its entirety. Okay. So I'm going to start with placing my first and I'm just butting this up here. As I told you, you probably are not even seeing that drop that when I smushed, right? And again, this is fairly dry already. And again, I'm just trying to line this up so I have, it's about 1/4 of an inch between these photos. The sunsets and the sunrises were absolutely amazing. And oh, this is actually gonna not go over as far. You know what? I'm gonna move this photo. I want this moved over a little bit more. I should. All right, so I'm gonna set this here. All right, because we're gonna trim that off. And then, again, this is a process video, right? It shows you how to create. Now these angles, how I did this, again, is I measured down 1 inch on each side, put a pencil mark, and then I cut to the center. I marked that at 2 inches. These are 6 inches. Using portrait photos is the best to work with this type of layout and using your photos. I did create a template with this and then just lay that template on the back of each photo and cut it out. It made that process go quicker, but you don't have to do that. So We already put the adhesive on here. And again, like I said, I'm just going to keep this at about 1/4 of an inch. Moving this over. I'm going to move that over a little bit. That's going to go here. Wait a second. This is going to go here. Actually, I want this one here. Then I want this one here. And this is because I've already kind of identified, excuse me, I already identified where I want my title to go down here. So this is going to end up going here. So I'm just going to put adhesive on this side for now. And line that up with that photo. So my bases, obviously the crumb cake cardstock is 12 by 12. And then this is cut at 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. And then again, I just butted them up to be side by side. Just going to adjust this again. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer and cut those photos. And I am at the 12-inch mark, so I should cut them straight. A little bit came off, not a big deal. All right. So we're going to have to do the same on the right side. And we'll line these up. So I do have, let me just put a little bit more adhesive on that piece. Love that sunset. All right. And then we can line this up. Right there. All right, let's put the rest of our lions on here. And we're almost done. This is a fairly simple layout. I know it's taken me a while because I decided to do the smooshing on here, but I think it would great, and it's going to bring in the title nicely. Right. They are just so majestic, these lions. And on the safari, it was amazing. They knew the packs of the lions and who belonged to who. So we saw them a couple of times. They would just tell us who they belonged to. And they actually had names for them too, but I don't actually remember those names. I wish I did. But I'm going to go on another safari next year, so I will make sure that I write those details down. Okay, so this is going to end up being my story, talking about, again, how they were all waiting for this sister to come back. So they were just sitting around waiting. Then all of a sudden somebody spotted her. One of them spotted her. They all got up and got excited. And then this is the reunion of them. And she is in there. And they are just welcoming her home. So, okay. Now, here is my title. I'm going to put the lions here. that I pre-cut. So let's get some adhesive on there. Move this up a little bit while I do that. Again, a great way to utilize these letters, and just think of so many things that it can, so many titles. I will be sharing another video that shows all the different ways that I have used these letters. So keep an eye out for that YouTube video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that. All right, so here is that title. All right, perfect. And now here are the dies that I have. I am going to add this. This has some adhesive on it already. So I am going to place that here. And I'll be writing my story around that. Here is another one of, put that right there and layer that on top. And then this here, I'm going to tuck underneath here. No dimension in it. This is one of my first layouts that I did not actually add any dimension using foam tape at all. But I'm just going to add that right here. I think that'll bring that in well here. We'll add that, and I think I have one more too. And I think I'm just gonna set it like right in there. I'll tuck it underneath the L on the I. And there we have it, right? A fun 2-page layout using photos as your focal point with the arrows, smooshing technique, and the fun dies. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great crafty day.